Hello everyone. I just wanted to make this video going over the lies of the Black Lives Matter movement to prove that the country is not systematically racist, that there is no um, black people by and large are not being mistreated. Generally speaking, I mean everybody gets mistreated, but they're not disproportionately getting mistreated based on their levels of crime in their communities. So the first thing we'll look at is the total number of well, actually, the first thing we'll look at is the expanded homicide data, Table 6. So I'm looking at 2018 because this is the most recent year for which I can find these statistics. You can look at any year; it's pretty much the same. Black people. This is the race of the offender. This is the race black, and the race of the victim white. So blacks kill 514 white people every year, and whereas white people kill only 234 black people. Now, I mean, I say only, but that's still a lot of people. I'd like it to be zero, um, but it's about half the amount that black people kill of white people every year. And that's particularly disturbing because the black population is only about a fifth of the white population. So here's the black population is 13.4%, and the white population is 60.4. So a little more than one fifth, which means that they're a little under 10 times more likely to be a interracial murderer than a white person is to be an interracial murderer. So that puts to rest the argument that cases like Ahmaud Arbery's are somehow indicative of white people at large, as opposed to just two guys or three guys that went after this black guy in a way that was possibly murder. We'll see what they're actually charged or what they're actually convicted of. Um, so that puts that to rest. So we'll move on to police shootings. Washington Post actually does some good work on the police shootings. I have to I have to actually download this data using the download the data link, which opens this page. Um, and so I will just highlight these. These are all of the police shootings um, from January 1st of 2015 all the way to the present day. Um, so we'll copy this into here. And while we're doing that, we'll look at the total arrests. So we're mainly going to be comparing it to just the violent crimes here. Okay, is that still copying? Okay. So let's just get the sum of this. So the sum of white violent crimes and the sum of violent crimes committed by black people. All right. Now that we got that, okay, and this is good. I'm going to move this top column over a little bit. Just shift it right. There we go. Now everything matches up. So we'll highlight this and we'll add a filter. And what we'll do is we're going to just look at 2018 data. So I'm going to take left for just to get the year in isolation, and that'll make it easier to filter this to only the 2018 year. Actually, just gonna do the whole row because I gotta keep this filter going for a bunch of different columns. Okay. So we'll remove 2015, 2016, 2017, 2019, and 2020. So we just have 2018 data. Then what we want to do is we want to convert the W and the B to numbers, just so I can do an easy sum. So we're going to get rid of Asians, blanks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We'll get rid of all of these except for black and white, just because, I mean, the narrative is that whites are racist against blacks and blacks are being systematically abused by whites. So for simplicity's purpose, we'll just look at white numbers and compare them to black numbers, just to see if white people or if black people rather are being mistreated by police based on their representation in the violent crime statistics. So we'll say if this cell equals W, then we'll put that as a 1, and if not, then it's a 0. And we'll do the same thing, but this time for blacks. So equals B, then 1 or 0. Okay. So now one of these columns will be 1, the other column will be 0, and this will make it really easy to just sum up these columns. And so equals sum of, okay, so this is the sum of the white column, and this is the sum of the black column. And I'll just put that up here, sum of white deaths by police in 2018, and sum of black deaths by police in 2018. Okay, so let's just copy these numbers and we'll move these over to the violent crime to be compared there. Oops. Let me just paste the values only. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's 554 rather, white people that are killed by police every year versus less than half that, or no, actually a little over half of that for black people. So to compare that to the violent crimes, we'll have to do equals the number of black deaths divided by the number of black violent crimes. And we'll go the number of white deaths divided by the number of white violent crimes. And we see that the number, so this number here is basically the number of deaths per violent crime arrest. So, so as you can see, 0.0019 is substantially higher than 0.0015. So if we want to find out how much higher, we can just divide the white number by the black number. Oops. And we get how many times more it actually is. So it's 1.26 times as many white deaths compared to black deaths per violent crime arrest. So this, in my opinion, puts to rest the notion that whites are systematically racist, that police are systematically racist. Yes, black people are disproportionately killed as a percentage of their population, meaning this number here is not 1/5 of this number, but that's because they commit so many more crimes than they should based on their percentage of the population. So this number is not 1/5 of this either. In fact, it's not even half of this. So I think that pretty clearly shows that the Black Lives Matter movement is really just a money-making scheme, or it's a way of pushing their their leftist ideology and their leftist views. Um, but more than likely, you just follow the money. Um, and if we come back to the victims by race, um, oops, here we go. So these 514, I just want to point out that the black people kill white people 514 times in 2018. White people kill black people 234 times. This number is covered by the media in almost every case, and this number is not. We practically never see this being reported, and likewise with the police. If you look up police shootings by race, and look up whether or not there's a disproportionate number of black people that are being killed by police, almost every mainstream media organization will say that yes, black people are being killed at disproportionately high rates because they're only a fifth of the population, but they account for about half of the deaths. When you're just comparing whites and blacks, it's going to be less than half if you add all the other races. But um, so black people definitely are not being mistreated, though, because black people commit a lot more crime, and that's the reason why these numbers there's a disparity in these numbers. If black people committed the crimes at the same level as white people, they would have less than 1/5 the deaths that white people do. That's just a fact. That's what the statistics show. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video.